Okay, so recording has been started now. Let me also share my screen.
मेरे को ना मल्टीटास्किंग होता है, ये मुझे अच्छा लगता है.
Okay. Hope my screen is visible now. Okay. So as you guys are aware of, this course we have designed for Salesforce Revenue Cloud. Revenue Cloud consists of two major components, that is Salesforce CPQ and Salesforce Billing. This would be a 35 to 40 hour course. First 25 to 30 hours we are going to dedicate to the CPQ part of Revenue Cloud, and then the later 10 to 15 hours we are going to dedicate to the billing part of the Salesforce Revenue Cloud. Okay. Now everyone. Okay. Okay. So before starting, let me give you a small introduction about me. So my name is Rishabh. I have total 5+ years of experience in Salesforce domain. Currently, I hold 10 Salesforce.com certification that includes admin, app builder, platform developer, and also Salesforce CPQ specialist as well. Recently, I have also gone through the Revenue Cloud accredited professional. I am an all-star ranger in Trailhead, and majority of my experience is with Sales Cloud and CPQ. So what are the topics that we are going to cover today in our demo session? So first, we are going to have a small introduction to Salesforce CPQ. Then we are going to check how do we configure and grant permission to the Salesforce CPQ once we install CPQ in our org. Then we are going to take a look on Salesforce CPQ process flow. What are the step-by-step process flow of Salesforce CPQ? And then we have a small overview of code line editor. So this QLE, this stands for code line editor. So what are the prerequisites for this course? So you should be admin 201 certified, like that, the basic admin certification that Salesforce offers. It is recommended, even though it is not mandatory. You should have a basic knowledge of Salesforce plus Sales Cloud. Who are our target audience? Anyone who is interested in learning CPQ. Now, before we start this demo, or before we start working on Salesforce CPQ, what is the first step towards learning? What you guys have to do, you have to create a developer org with this below link. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to paste this link on the meeting chat here. So if you want, you can access the link from here. So once you open this link, this page will get open. From here, you just have to provide some basic details and you will get a developer org. In that developer org, Salesforce CPQ package would be pre-installed. So you don't have to create a developer org, then go to App Exchange and install the Salesforce CPQ package from the scratch. What you can do, you can just directly come to this link, enter your basic details, first name, last name, email address, company name, and you will get a developer org with Salesforce CPQ package pre-installed. The package would be pre-installed. All the CPQ data will be pre-populated there in your org. One thing to keep in mind, the package license that will be active for 90 days. So you can access this particular developer org for 90 days. For 90 days, after 90 days, the developer org may expire, or the package CPQ package may expire in your developer org, or you may need to create a new developer org. So from here, you can create a developer org, and then you can start learning Salesforce CPQ along as soon as we grow in our course. So let me start sharing my again. Okay. So before we start with CPQ, let's discuss about some. So basically, Salesforce CPQ stands for configure, price, and quote. And the quoting part of the CPQ is the major part of the CPQ. So before we go towards CPQ, let's discuss some common quoting challenges that or an organization face, or a particular small business or a small scale business face while quoting to their customer. So generating accurate quote is still the biggest challenge for many companies. So even from the bigger company, if you take a look, like let me give you a real life example. Suppose you have gone to purchase a computer, or you want to assemble a computer. Okay, then what you would do, you would either go to a vendor or to a company, and you will get a quotation. You will ask for some specification that you want in your PC. Like you will be asking, I want a 32 GB RAM, I want a specific graphics card, I want a specific motherboard. You will provide your requirements, whatever you want in your PC, whatever requirement you have for the configuration, you will tell that requirement to the salesperson, and then salesperson will create a quote accordingly and let you know about the pricing information. Correct. But there could be a scenario where that sales rep is not that good technical person. He can suggest you a particular motherboard and a particular RAM or a particular graphics card. Those are not compatible with each other. He will create a quote, but once you finalize that particular quote, once that quote goes to the technical team to assemble the PC, you will get to know, like, whatever quotation you have got was not correct, and this particular motherboard is not compatible with this particular graphics card or this particular RAM. This would be a major challenge in sales. This could create a negative image in customers' eyes. To overcome these challenges, Salesforce CPQ helps a lot. So there are pre-built way in Salesforce CPQ that we can use to create quote as per our need. What are some other quoting challenges? Like if we take a look about the on the bigger organization that use a CRM on an ERP, what are the challenges that organization face? So products pricing catalogs are maintained offline in Excel or a Word or a PDF. Outdated information floating around, like pricing is information is always changing. Like there can be a scenario where every week a price of particular product gets changed. If that information is not updated accordingly, or if you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of products and you have stored that products offline, or you are storing that information in Excel or in a Word file, updating those information is very difficult. Then large product catalogs governed by complex business and technical rules. So as I told you in our example, like one particular motherboard is not compatible with a particular graphics card. That kind of scenario this is a common scenario. And this is a major blocker while creating a code. Then unorganized offline or email approval. Inability of sales rep to self-service. Then again, so most of the companies or organizations are generating documents manually, where the branding or the consistency is not proper. Missed opportunities to increase deal size. So Salesforce CPQ provides you a great way to upsell and cross-sell to your customer. If would be a great add-on if you install, or if your client installs Salesforce CPQ. Most of the companies does not have a particular place to store all the data and to report on all those data. But since Salesforce CPQ is installed on CPQ on Salesforce platform, you can use the native reporting functionality of Salesforce CPQ. Then financial impacting of making things right when quoting is made of error. So there can be a scenario where a quote is made in error, then there would be a financial impact in correcting those particular quote. So these are some common quoting challenges. Now let's take a look why we should opt, or why a customer should opt for Salesforce CPQ. So what Salesforce CPQ provides us is allows us to focus on customer instead of pricing, discount, calculation, and promotion. Okay, these things, pricing, discount, calculation, and promotion, Salesforce CPQ engine or Salesforce CPQ pricing engine takes care of all of it. Or your sales rep has to do, he just has to listen to the customer, what your customer wants, and then provide the information or create a quote as per the customer's need. Then it guiding users through a consistent process of selecting the best product for the customer. So Salesforce CPQ provides several ways for our sales rep to guide your customer or to select a proper product for your customer. Then enforcing business and technical rules to ensure complete and valid configuration. As I told you in our example, like while configuring a particular or while assembling a particular PC, there could be a list of errors. Using Salesforce CPQ, what we can do, we can enforce some technical rules and business rules that will make sure the code or the final document that we are creating for our customer is 100% accurate. Then ensuring the latest product and pricing data is always available. Using Salesforce CPQ, since all the data is on Salesforce cloud, we can always update that data. We can always update the pricing whenever we need, and that data would be available for all the user at the same time. Then managing discounting and approvals. Salesforce CPQ has a lot of ways to manage discounting. For approvals, you can either use the standard Salesforce CPQ approval process, or there is an additional package that comes with Salesforce CPQ that is called advanced approval. In this course, we have also prepared several lectures or 2 lectures for advanced approval, where we are going to show you how you can leverage advanced approval along with the Salesforce CPQ package. Then generating dynamic proposal document with consistent branding, contact, and structure. So based on certain conditions, what we can do, we can create dynamic code documents, and then we can forward that document to our customer or to the end users. So these are some major reasons why an organization should opt out for Salesforce CPQ. Now, let's take a look what Salesforce CPQ exactly is. So as you all aware of, Salesforce CPQ is a managed package that is an add-on to Sales Cloud. To access Salesforce CPQ, we first have a Salesforce platform or a Salesforce org with Sales Cloud. Then only we can install Salesforce CPQ in that particular org and start utilizing or start working on Salesforce CPQ. So Salesforce CPQ, what Salesforce CPQ does, it enhance your standard Sales Cloud. It uses the standard product object from the Sales Cloud, uses the standard opportunity object, and then it enhances those particular objects, and then it comes with some of its own objects and functionalities. Now, as I told you, CPQ stand for configure, price, and quote. So basically we can say there are 3 vectors. The first one is configuration part. Second one is pricing part, and the third one is the quote part. So CPQ software by Salesforce is a sales tool for companies to provide accurate pricing with any given product configuration scenario. Like your company can sell perpetual products like hardware products like laptop, mobile, computers, CPQ, those kind of products. Or your company can sell subscription products like a subscription to OTT platform or a subscription to softwares or any kind of stuff. Or your company can sell usage-based product like electricity, gas line connection. So all those type of product configuration scenarios, Salesforce CPQ engine is more than capable to handle. CPQ application take into account optional features, customization, quantity, discount, allowing sales rep to quote prices quickly and accurately. Salesforce CPQ gives your sales team an easy to use software that can be available of any device due to its cloud-based platform, hosted within the Sales Cloud platform, giving you a direct link with your CRM to make the most impactful sales decision. So as I told you, Salesforce CPQ would be hosted on your Sales Cloud of your Salesforce organization. Now, let's take a look on each vectors. So the first one is configure. So in the configuration part of Salesforce CPQ, what we would be essentially doing, we would be setting up products. We would be setting up bundles. So bundles, you can consider a set of products or a group of products with some business rules and business logic. Then guide sales rep to pick correct products. So there are various ways. There are filters, there are guided selling, and there are other configuration. Using those configuration, you can always guide your sales rep to correct or to select the proper products for your customer. Using Salesforce CPQ, the additional options you get, you could show the related offers and promotion at the time of quoting to your customer. Drive business and technical rules to govern product combination. You can create various product rule or price rule. Based on those logic, you can make sure the pricing is always correct. The product that your customers are selecting or the product your sales rep are selecting for your customer are compatible with each other and are there in inventory or works properly with each other. Those kind of logic we can build under the configuration part of Salesforce CPQ. Then the second vector or the second important division of CPQ is pricing. From this division, what we would do, we would provide relevant price for products and bundles. We can set up discount engine. We will allow offers and promotion, and then let the system calculate the final price based on the various sales user selection. So there can be multiple logic. As of now, we have not discussed, but as soon as we grow, I will show you there are different prices in Salesforce CPQ, how those prices are related to each other, and how sales rep can manipulate those prices while or by adding additional discounts to the particular quote. Now, the last one and the most important one is the quote part. What is a quote? Quote is a PDF that provide details of products, services, pricing, terms and conditions, and legality and termination to the customer, to the end user. So this quote is the final output that, or we can say, is the last division of Salesforce CPQ. After generating the quote, we would be sending the quote to our customer, and after sending the quote, or after reviewing the quote, it's up to the customer whether he wants to forward or whether he wants to proceed with us or not. Then Salesforce CPQ provides us reusable templated content. What it means, like we can create a single template or we can create multiple template. Those template would be used every time we generate a document. So in that particular template, we can define or we can pre-populate the instructions like how the document should look like. Then Salesforce CPQ provides us the ability to send a quote with enabling the online or electronic signature. Then Salesforce CPQ produce a consistent, professional, and branding quotes and proposal. So this is a brief introduction. Let me. Okay, so now let's discuss how do we configure and grant permission to Salesforce CPQ. So how do you install Salesforce CPQ? Like you have to go to the app exchange. So I'm not talking about a developer or that I showed you how to create. I'm talking about if you want to install the Salesforce CPQ in a real production environment or a Salesforce org from in any live project. So you would have to go to App Exchange and you will install the CPQ as you install a normal App Exchange product, or you can connect with the Salesforce CPQ account executive and they can guide you. They will provide you a link on your mailbox. After paying for certain amount of licenses, you can install the Salesforce CPQ package from that particular link. So it would be same as installing any package from App Exchange. Now, what are some prerequisites for installing Salesforce CPQ? The first one is you have to enable the email deliverability to all users and all email. You have to enable chatters. Salesforce CPQ uses the standard order object. So you have to enable order. It is a mandatory to enable the orders, but it is not mandatory to use order functionality. If you don't want to use order functionality, you can skip that particular part and you can directly just create code and send that code to your customer. And then based on the response of your customer, you can proceed accordingly. The last one is enable CRM content. So these four are the prerequisite for installing Salesforce CPQ. Now, after installing the Salesforce CPQ, what we have to do? We have to configure the Salesforce CPQ. So how do we configure, or what is the first step, or what is the most important step to configure Salesforce CPQ is we have to authorize the new calculation services. So how do we do that? We have to go to setup, then we have to enter the install packages in the quick find box of setup, and then search, click on install packages. We have to find Salesforce CPQ and then click on configure. Then we have to click the pricing and calculation tab, and then we have to click on this authorize new calculation services. So when a user clicks on authorize new calculation services, Salesforce CPQ creates a token for that particular user. Salesforce CPQ uses that token and combination and the user combination to communicate with the Heroku server that manage the asynchronous calculation using the JavaScript code calculator. If the calculation services has not been authorized, org admin will see an error during the upgrade or installation of Salesforce CPQ. So let me show you how to do this. So this is my developer org. In this developer org, the Salesforce CPQ package is pre-installed. What I'm going to do, I'm going to perform the same steps. So I'm going to go to setup first. From here, I will search for installed packages. Here, you can see Salesforce CPQ package is pre-installed. I'll click on configure here. Okay, now what the documents say, I have to go to this pricing and calculation. But if you see here, I am not getting this authorized new calculation service option here. The reason is I have already authorized my org to use the new calculation services. But if your org has not yet authorized to use the new calculation services, after installing the Salesforce CPQ, if you come here to the package setting of Salesforce CPQ, under this pricing and calculation tab, you will see an option here to authorize the new calculation services. You can click on that particular options, or you can click on that particular link. After the services has been authorized, that option will go away, and then you can start using the Salesforce CPQ, and it will do all the corrections correctly, or all the calculation correctly. Okay. Now let's come back. Okay, now let's take a look. How do we configure and grant permission to Salesforce CPQ? So to modify CPQ objects and field, user must have a CPQ licenses. Follow the below steps to assign a license to a Salesforce user. What we have to do, again, we have to perform the same thing. From our setup, we have to click on install packages, then click on install packages, find Salesforce CPQ and click on manage licenses. So the same thing, like if I go to my org here, if I click on install packages, I will get this manage licenses option. From here, I can assign a license to a particular Salesforce user. Since this is my developer org, in my developer org, it by default, a developer org comes with only 2 Salesforce licenses. So here I am not getting those particular options to assign the licenses to a list of user or to a set of users. But in a live org or in a live Salesforce CPQ production environment, you will get, once you install Salesforce CPQ package, you will get an option here in manage license to assign or unassign licenses to a particular Salesforce user. After assigning the licenses, what you have to make sure, we have to also make sure that the users have either one of these permission sets. So basically, there are 4 types of permission set that we can assign to a user based on different needs. So there are admin user, there would be a normal sales user, There would be a partner user and there could be a customer user. So this admin type of permission sets are for the users who configure the Salesforce CPQ features and setting for the end user or for users, partner or customers. All those admin users will require either a Salesforce CPQ admin user permission set or a Salesforce CPQ admin user access. For normal sales user, the user who uses Salesforce CPQ features to deliver the services to a customer or an end user. This is not a normal sales user who would be creating codes for your partner, customers, or end user. Those users would either be using the Salesforce CPQ license or Salesforce CPQ user access license. Then your partner users or customer users could also be using Salesforce CPQ. So for the partners who implement Salesforce CPQ as part of their own product offering, those type of users, you can assign Salesforce CPQ partner user license or Salesforce CPQ partner user access. And then if you have communities available and you have a customer portal, then what you can do, for your customers or for the end users who use your Salesforce CPQ services, you can assign Salesforce CPQ customer user or Salesforce CPQ customer user access, these permission sets. So let me go back to in my org. Let me open the user that I have. So this is my user. What I have done, first I have assigned him the Salesforce CPQ permission set licenses. So I have assigned the Salesforce CPQ permission set license plus Salesforce CPQ advanced approval licenses. So these two permission set licenses I have assigned to this particular user. Then I have assigned him Salesforce CPQ admin permission set, because using this user, I would be making all the changes or all the configuration in my Salesforce CPQ package. Now let's come back to our PPT. Okay, now what we are going to do, so let's take a look of how a Salesforce CPQ process flow works. So the triggering point for our CPQ or a triggering point for a or a transfer point from Sales Cloud to CPQ is a creation of opportunity. So opportunity, all we know, like all the sales process starts in Salesforce CPQ with a creation of opportunity. Same thing goes with Salesforce CPQ as well. First, what we would do, we would create an opportunity. Then we will configure products. Then we will set pricing and discount. Then we will send the particular quote document or a proposal document to our customer. Then then we can utilize the online signature functionality that Salesforce CPQ provides. So that is not out of the box functionality. We have to create an integration with either DocuSign or Adobe Sign, but those integration would be a point and click integration where we can just configure the managed package and create an integration between CPQ and Adobe Sign or DocuSign. Then if a customer signs a particular quote, we would generate a contract record. Then we could generate add-on quotes and orders. If we are using order management or if we are using standard Salesforce order management, then we can generate orders as well. Then the last thing is renew our contract. Once the contract is renewed, renewal opportunities would be generated and then renewal quotes would be generated. So again, the same cycle would be performed. An opportunity would be generated with a particular quote with products pre-configured through the renewal contract option. And then the pricing would be there on that renewal quote. Again, we can make small adjustment based on our customer's need or requirement, and then forward that particular code document to the customer and end user. Then the customer can sign it again and the same procedure will follow or go on. So let's do one thing. What we are going to do, we are going to take a look, or we are going to log into our developer org, and let's follow this whole cycle or exact cycle. And let me show you how this entire Salesforce CPQ process flow works in a Salesforce org. So let me log in. So let's start with creating an account first. So I'm going to create a demo account for this session. So let me click on new button here. Let me name it Sweet Demo Account. So this is the account name. And then I'm going to click on save. This is all the information I need to create an account. After creating account, let me create an opportunity on this account. Oh, I'm going to create an opportunity. Amount, I'm not going to add. Close date, stage, and save. Okay, now till here I have used nothing, or I have not used any functionality of Salesforce CPQ. But from here, we have to utilize the functionality of Salesforce CPQ. Here we have to create a quote, and then after creating the quote, what we can do, we can add our products to that particular quote. Now let's do one thing. Let's suppose, or let's take an example, your company sells electronic products, or your company sells mobile phones. So before creating the quote for a particular opportunity, or before creating a quote for a particular end user, you have to make sure you have correct product catalog. What do I mean by a correct product catalog? Means whatever products you sell, or whatever products you have in your inventory, should be there in the product catalog with correct pricing information. So how do we check the product catalog? I can go to this products tab. I can click here, all products, and then I can see all my products here. So let's take an example. Now your company sells hardware products, or your company sells mobile phones, let's assume. So let's create a product for a particular mobile phone, or particular phone that we want to sell to our customer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give my product a name. So I'm going to name it S23 Ultra. This is the name of my product. Product code is not a mandatory field. So I am going to give us any product code that I want. I have to make sure this product is active. Product family, I am going to give hardware here. That's it. That's all the information I want. But if you scroll down, there are a lot of fields like the Salesforce CPQ configuration, Salesforce CPQ product selection, Salesforce CPQ pricing, Salesforce CPQ discounting, Salesforce CPQ quantity control, Salesforce CPQ workflow, Salesforce CPQ billing. So all these different sections we have. So as I told you, what Salesforce CPQ does, Salesforce CPQ is an add-on to the Sales Cloud provided by Salesforce. So what it does, it uses the standard or out of the box product object that comes with CPQ, and that the Salesforce CPQ package enhances that product object. So all the fields you see, these fields comes with the CPQ package, and that got added to the standard product object. Using these various fields, or combination of these fields, we would be configuring our products and those products, and to sell those products to our customer or end user. So let me click on save here. So now our product is ready. Let's check if we are able to create a quote and add this product to the quote, or is there anything else that is required. So let me go back to opportunities. This is the opportunity that we have just created, svtechsoft demo account. Oh, not order. I am going to generate a quote for this. So I'm going to click on new. I'm going to make this quote a primary opportunity. I'm going to select the demo opportunity that we just created. account, I'm going to select this demo account. I'm going to click on save. Now my quote record is created. From this quote record, what I have to do now, I have to add products. I have to configure this quote as per my customer needs. Suppose I have a customer who wants to purchase this S23 Ultra, that phone with or the product that we just created. If a customer wants to purchase that particular product and that particular customer places an inquiry to a sales rep, what a sales rep will do after creating a quote, that particular sales rep will click on this edit line button. Once we click on this edit lines button, we will be routed to a quote line editor page. So this is the quote line editor page. Here it is asking us to select a price book from which price book we want to add products. So in my developer org or in my demo org, I have two price books. The one is the standard price book that comes by default with Salesforce CPQ, and another one is this testing price book. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use or I'm going to select the standard price book. I'm going to click on save. Okay, now you can see I have this multiple fields here: start date, end date, subscription term, approval required. Majorly these start date, end date, and subscription terms are required if you are selling a subscription product, like a subscription to an OTT platform like Hotstar, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Here what we are doing, we are selling a perpetual product, that is S23 Ultra, that is a smartphone. So that is a hardware product. So we don't require a start date or end date or a subscription term for that particular product. So to add products, what a sales rep will do, sales rep would have to come here, click on this add product button. After clicking on this add product button, a list of all the products will show or would be available to the user. From here, the user can select the product, whatever product the customer required or end user require, and then add that product to the quote. So let me search for Samsung. You see, even though this product is created, Samsung S23 Ultra, if I am searching for that particular product, I am not able to find that product here. Okay, now the reason behind this, as our sales cloud, to add a product to opportunity, what we also need to do, we need to add a list price to that particular product, or we have to add a standard price for that particular product so that the product is available in our price book. So how do we do that? From our product, I have to go to this related list. I have to scroll down here to the price book section or the price book related list. From this price book related list, I will click on this add standard price button. And from here, I'm going to define a standard price for this product. So let me give a price of 1,500 USD and click on save. Okay, so now my product is created with a price of 1,500 US dollar. Now let me go back to my quote again. Let me click on cancel here. Let me click on add product. And now let's again search for the same product. Okay. Okay, now this particular product is available for me. What I can do, I can click here and then select. Now this particular product, Samsung S23 Ultra, has been added to my quote. The pricing here, I can see this pricing information, 1,500 US dollar. Then I can click on save. Okay, once it is saved, if I go to related, I can see one quote line record has been generated for this Samsung S23 Ultra product that we have added to our quote line. Based on how many products we have added on our quote, the number of quote lines may vary. As of now, on our quote level, we have only added one product. Hence, only one quote line record has been generated. Now, what is the next step the sales rep will perform after this? So as of now, the quote record is generated. But if you see or if you check, this particular quote record is only on Salesforce platform. Okay, your customer or your end user will not have access to your Salesforce platform, so they can log into your Salesforce or and check that quote record that you have created. Even though this quote record has all the information, it is not useful for the end customers to make a final decision whether he wants to buy that particular product from you or not. So what a sales rep will do here, the sales rep has to click on this generate document button. This generate document button will create a PDF or a Word document that we can forward to our customer or to our end user. And based on that, the end user can make a decision whether he wants to purchase that particular product from us or not. So as I told you, after clicking on generate document, I will get these options. I have to select a specific template first. So I'm going to select svtechsoft template, the dummy template that I have. Then output format, PDF, paper size default, document name. Then I can click on preview here. It's taking some time to load. So once we click on preview, what should be able to see? We should be able to see a PDF. Yeah, a document like this, where I can, in this document, what I can see, I can see the logo of my company, svtechsoft. I can see, let me zoom again. I can see this. Let me download this PDF and open in a new tab. It would be easier. Okay, so this is the code document I have. Here I have the branding of my company. I have the information of my company, the name of my company, svtechsoft, and the address. Then here I would have the normal quoting information. I have the bill to and ship to address. By the time of creating the account, what we have done, we have only provided the account name, not any other information like contact, phone, emails, or address. Hence, those information is not getting populated. And then I have these information. I can see the product that I have selected for my customer. I can see the quantity, I can see the product name, I can see the product code, description, the unit price, and the extended price. And the customer would also see the total, what total the customer has to pay. If there are some discounting information, or if you have provided some special price to your customer. So there can be a scenario where you have a loyal customer, or where you have a loyalty program and you provide regular discounts to the customer who purchase consistently from you. In that scenario, you can have some discounting information here. That information we can also add as a column here. Then we have some terms and conditions. And then at the final, we have some signature block here, where the customer has to provide his name, name and signature. If we are using electronics signature like DocuSign, e-signature platform like DocuSign or Adobe Sign, then the customer does not have to provide any information here, but like installing, like taking a printout of this document, signing it manually. Through the Adobe Sign or DocuSign, they can use the e-signature option, perform an e-signatures, and then send this code back to the sales rep. And based on that, the next step or the order generation or the order fulfillment process will start. So this is how the code document will look like. As of now, what I have to do, I have to click on this save an email this to my customer, and after receiving that email, my customer will review it. whether he wants to purchase it or not. If we have an integration with Adobe Sign or a DocuSign, we will get a button here on this particular page to send it to Adobe, send through Adobe Sign or send through DocuSign. We just have to click on that particular button, and then this particular document would be transferred automatically to a electronically signable document and would be sent to your customers to sign digitally or electronically. Now let me click on cancel here. So let's assume we have sent this document to our customer. Customer has agreed to buy this product from us. Now what we could do? So, or what would be the next step from here? So I'll go to this opportunity. Okay.
Hey, Rishabh, I have a quick question before going
Yes.
to next. So is this generate document, is this a standard functionality or it's a custom built?
No, so that is a standard functionality. So that is standard functionality that comes with Salesforce CPQ itself. So let me go to Object Manager and show you. So there is an object that comes with Salesforce CPQ, that is this code template object. That is, if you see the API name is SBQQ code template. This is a standard CPQ object. Using this particular object, we can configure different code template that we want to use. So if I come here from this app launcher, if I search for template, I can see my code template here. So I have created multiple templates here. You can see svtechsoft some template, AW proposal template, 22nd April svtechsoft demo template. All these demo templates I have created, and these templates I have created using point and click method. I have not written any code. There are some basic HTML requirement, but all these are basic point and click. I just have to create a record for this particular code template, and then if I go to code, again open this particular code, click on this generate document, I can see all list of all the active templates that I have. If a requirement changes, I have to create a new template. The same thing I have to perform. I have to go to app launcher, create a new template from here, and then based on the template or whatever information we provide on that particular template record, based on that, the output document will show us can show us a different information. So yeah, this is a standard functionality that comes with Salesforce CPQ. You don't have to write customization or do a custom coding to generate a PDF document from your code record.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So, where were we? Let's go back. So we were assuming like we have forwarded that particular document to our customer. Customer has agreed to buy that particular product from us. Now, what is the next step from here, or what is the next step that sales rep will provide? So in our normal sales cloud, what do we do once a deal is finalized? We go to our opportunity and we mark that particular opportunity as closed one. So same thing we would do here. But before closing that, let me show you here what you can see, whatever products we have added on our quote. So this is my quote. On this quote, we have added only one product, this Samsung S23 Ultra product. This product you can also see has synced back to my opportunity. The reason it is synced, because if you want to use the standard forecasting, the sales forecasting that Salesforce CPQ provide, so that forecasting does not impact what Salesforce CPQ has done. Whenever we mark any quote primary, whatever products we have added to that particular quote or whatever product you can see on that particular quote as a quote line option, after making a quote primary, all those products will also be transferred to the related opportunity as opportunity product. So the forecasting does not impact, or we can create a correct forecasting report using the collaborative forecasting. Okay, so now we can see the product is also here. Also, you can see while creating the opportunity, we have ignored the amount field. We have not provided any information on the amount, but As soon as the product got added as an opportunity product to my opportunity, I can see the amount 1,500 USD, the amount that I have specified for my Samsung S23 Ultra product, I can see on my opportunity. Now, the next thing that we would do, we would come here, we would mark this opportunity as closed one, and then we are going to click on save. Okay, now I have marked this opportunity closed one. The next thing that I have to do, you can see we have this different checkbox here. We have this contracted checkbox. We have this ordered checkbox. If I create an order checkbox, then what will happen? An order record would be created. If I select this contracted checkbox, a contract record would have been created. So let's check this contract checkbox and click on save. Now, ideally, in an ideal scenario, since I have checked the contracted checkbox, a contract record should have been created. But if I go here to the contract related list, I do not see any information. I will tell you the reason for that. But before doing that, let me open the account first. So this is the account that I have. We go to related list. Now, since I checked this contracted checkbox, what happened? No contract record have been generated here. But if I open this particular account, on this account, what I can see, I can see on the related list, an asset record has been generated for my S23 Ultra product. Now, what could be a reason a contract record is not generated, or what is a contract record? So in a general scenario, or when I also started learning Salesforce CPQ, the misconception I was considering this contract record as a legal binding with the customer and the organization. But this contract object or this contract record is not a legal binding or not a legal document that is between an entity or a customer. This contract information will show us the information of all the subscription product that I have or that a customer has. So if your company is selling subscription product like a subscription to OTT platform, then you go to your opportunity and close one that opportunity, then only you will see some information here on this contract object or this contract record. So let me do one thing first. Let me perform the same operation. So here, for this particular customer, what we have done, we have sent him or we have sold him a perpetual product or a one-time product. Customer will customer will buy a smartphone from you, and then that's it. There is no other option to renew that particular product. If a customer also purchase a warranty with this particular smartphone, and then warranty would be for subscription of 12 months, then there is a chance to renew the warranty of that particular phone. But in this scenario, what your customer has done, the customer has only purchased a standalone product. So there is no opportunity to create a renewal quote or to upsell or cross sell. So for that reason, there is no contract record generated here. But let's do one thing. Let's create another account quickly. Let's name it again svtechsoft contract demo. That's it. I'm going to click on save. I will go to related. I'll create a new opportunity for this account. Opportunity name I'm going to give same. Okay, opportunities also created. Let's do one thing. Let's quickly create a quote. As you can see, the amount is blank. There is no products added to my opportunity. Now, as soon as I click on new and create a primary quote, okay, The quote record is now generated. Now the next thing that I would do or a sales rep will do, the sales rep will click on edit line. Price book, I'm going to select the standard price book. I'm going to add a product. Again, I'm going to add the same product, Samsung S23 Ultra. This time I will also add a subscription product. So I will click on select and add more. And I'm going to select and let's select Hotstar annual subscription. I'm going to select it. Okay. Now, since I also have a subscription product here on my quote, what I have to do, I have to define a start date and end date. So I'm going to define a start date of today, June 5th. End date, either I can define an end date or I can define a subscription term. So let's define a subscription term. But before defining, let's see what is the total of my product. So here I can see total of 1,500. That is for my Samsung S23 Ultra. Then for Hotstar subscription, for Hotstar annual subscription, the customer has to pay $50 US. So let me open this product. I'm going to go to products. Let's search for all products. Search for Hotstar. This is the Hotstar. What is the product we have added? Hotstar annual sub, right? Yep, Hotstar annual sub. I'm going to open this one. Okay. Okay, so this is a subscription product where the subscription term is 12 months. If I have not added any term, what it is doing, it is considering like by default, this product is for 12 months and it is giving me the pricing of 50 USD. But what if there could be a scenario where a customer does not want to have a subscription for 12 months? He can say, no, boss, I only want it for 5 months or I want it for 18 months. In that scenario, how the pricing would be calculated? Suppose I select 18 here. As you say, as soon as I change the subscription term to 18, you can see my net unit price has changed automatically to 75. I don't have to do anything. I have not built any automation or a customization in backend to make this happen. This is a standard functionality of Salesforce CPQ that is called proration. So based on the amount or based on the duration the customer is purchasing a product from us, the price of that subscription product will automatically prorated for that particular duration. So for 12 months, the price was 50. For 18 months, the price is automatically prorated to 75. If I change it to 19, again, it automatically prorated to 79.17. Okay, so this is it. Like this is how we can identify the pricing, or this is how the pricing will work differently for a perpetual product and a subscription product. So let me click on save here. Now the same thing will happen again. We would have the sales rep will click on generate document button, generate a template from here. Then same thing, now here on this document, I can see two different flow. Let me again download it and give you a review. Okay, here you can see this time the code template or the code document that has generated. This code document has two different tables. The first one is for hardware product, where I can see my Samsung S23 Ultra with a price of 1,500. The second table I have is for software product, where I can see my subscriptions product, Hotstar annual subscription. And then I can see the total the customer has to pay. So 79 for the subscription, 1,500 for the phone itself, and then the total amount of 1,579. This is the amount that the customer has to pay. Now this document, let's make an assumption the document has been forwarded to the customer. Customer has agreed to pay whatever amount is there mentioned in the document. Now, what the sales rep will do? Again, the same thing. Sales rep will come to opportunity. Now, if you see here, earlier there was no product, but since we have a primary quote and there are two products on the primary quote, those two came from the quote to opportunity. About the amount of opportunity got updated automatically based on the amount of our quote. Now, let me click on close button. Mark this opportunity as closed one, save. Now, before performing any next action, let's do one thing. Let's open this account and review this particular account. Okay, so on this account, if I go to related, I can see as of now, there is no asset, there is no subscription, there is no contract, nothing I can see here. Let me do one thing. Let me perform the same operation here. Let me again check this contracted checkbox. Click on save. Now, let me go back to my account. But before going to account, let's refresh this page. What I can see on contract level, on opportunity level itself, I can see a contract record has been generated. Let's go to account level and see what all the records are generated on account level. So if I go to the related list on my account, contract demo, if I scroll down, I can see one contract record has been generated, one asset record has been generated, and one subscription record has been generated. So this asset record is generated for the asset product or for the perpetual or a hardware product that we have sold to our customer S23 Ultra. This subscription record generated for the subscription product. So if I open this subscription, I can see the subscription information here. I should be able to see a start date, end date, and all those info. So here for this subscription, I can see the list price, whatever pricing that the customer has to pay. What is the start date for this particular subscription? What is the end date for this subscription? And to which particular quote line this subscription record is related. Then let me go back to account. Let me open. Let me refresh it. Go to related. Now let's take a look on the contract record, how the contract record will look like. So as I told you, for contract, don't ever get confused with the Salesforce CPQ contract with a legal binding. This contract is just a combination of all the subscription records we have. So if I go to related, what I can see, as of now, I only have one active subscription that is coming here on the contract record. But if you have multiple subscription, all those subscriptions will show up here. Using this contract, what we can do, we can create renewal opportunity, or we can amend this existing subscription. What could be a real life example? Suppose a customer has purchased 14 subscription of Hotstar from you for 18 months, but after 6 months he came back to you, boss, I have purchased 18 subscription from you, but now what I want to cancel 6 subscription. Going forward, I only want to pay for 12 subscription. That scenario, you can use this amend button. You can amend this existing contract, and then you can make changes in this existing contract. Or suppose after 18 months, customer has came back to you and saying, okay, I have that duration, the first duration of 18 months has been completed. Now I want to renew all my subscription. I want to get it renewed for next 18 months. In that scenario, what you have to do, or what a sales rep will have to do, they have to check this renewal checkbox, renewal forecast checkbox, and this. Yep. So, did someone ask anything?
ये order book है ना बस में डाल दिया
Okay. Okay. So the sales rep will have to check this renewal focus checkbox. Click on save. And as soon as the renewal checkbox is checked, a new renewal opportunity would have been generated. Ideally, this renewal opportunity or the best time to generate this renewal opportunity is as soon as we generate a contract, so that we have this renewal opportunity in our forecasting, or we can check like there is an opportunity for us to renew an existing contract. But once the actual start date comes, like, or once the actual end date comes for this particular contract, at that time we can check this renewal quoted checkbox that would create a quote against this renewal opportunity. So as of now, if I open this renewal opportunity, go to a new tab, I can only see this renewal opportunity, but there is no quote. If I come here, check this renewal quoted checkbox and save, and then refresh it, what I can see here, I can see a quote has been generated. This quote will query all the subscription product that I have on my primary quote. So on my primary quote, if you remember, we only had two products, S23 Ultra and Hotstar annual subscription. That S23 Ultra is not showing because that is a perpetual product or a standalone product that does not require to be or does not needs to be renewed. So on my renewal opportunity or on my renewal quote, I am only seeing this one product, Hotstar annual subscription. That's it. Now from here, the same operation can follow. Like I can generate a quote, I can generate the document, send that document to the customer. If customer agrees to buy, I will go back to this renewal opportunity, mark this renewal opportunity closed one, and then a contract will be generated by checking on the contract checkbox, and the same process flow will follow again and again. Now, most of the thing as of now we are doing manually, like we are checking those checkboxes manually, generating renewal opportunities and renewal quotes manually. But in a live environment or a live scenario, there would be automations, like there would be flows or triggers. Those would be checking those checkboxes at the right moment or at the right time, so that your sales rep does not have to worry about all those. They need to do, they have to interact with the customer and try to get the maximum business from the customer. That's it. So this is how the typical Salesforce CPQ process flow works as with an add-on to Sales Cloud. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I have a question.
Hi, Harika. Yeah.
In this renewal opportunity or renewal quote, can we add again another product?
Correct. So there would be, let's suppose, two different type of changes. So, or two different type of quotes would be created. There would be an amendment quote or a renewal quote. So this renewal quote, this is again a brand new quote. So if I go to edit line, you can see this particular Hotstar annual subscription that came by default from my existing quote or from my primary quote. Now let's assume with this product, customer also want to buy, and let's suppose iPhone 14. Let's see if I have that. Okay, iPhone 14 I have. Select. Okay, now iPhone 14 with price of 2,200 USD. I am adding this. I am saving this particular quote. If I go to this renewal opportunity, I can see two products has been added. Hotstar annual subscription, iPhone 14 one. I will mark this opportunity as closed one. And then I will check this contracted checkbox. Save. As soon as I check this contracted checkbox, I can see this particular contract that has been generated. Let me go back to this account. Let me go to this related list. I can see two different contracts. I can see two different assets. If you see earlier, there was only one asset for Samsung S23 Ultra, but at the time of renewal, we also sold this iPhone 14 to our customer. So now two asset record has been generated. And if I go to subscription, I can see two subscription for Hotstar annual. The one from my existing opportunity and the another from my renewal. So from my existing, I can see the start date was from today's date to, I think it's January 2025. That's it from the subscription that got created from my renewal. On that one, I can see the start date is January 2025 to August 2026. So yeah, on your renewal code, definitely you can add new products and then you can upsell and cross-sell those products with your customer. Okay, so
Hi, Rishabh.
hi.
I have a question. Yeah. So on the edit lines user interface,
Yes.
how do you know that if a product is subscription product or standalone product?
Okay, so how to check that whether a product is a subscription product or a standalone product, what you have to do while configuring the product. So on this particular product, Hotstar annual subscription, there is a there is this pricing section.
Yeah.
This pricing section has this subscription pricing field. This subscription pricing needs to be updated. So there would be two value here in subscription pricing. Fixed price and subscription, fixed price and percentage of total. Either of these two value needs to be selected, then only that particular product will act as a subscription product. There are some additional fields like subscription term and renewal model, but the major field that needs to be populated is this subscription pricing that needs to be fixed with a subscription pricing. And see, if I open my second product, like that was, so one, let's S23 Ultra. If I come here, subscription pricing, you can see the subscription pricing is blank here. That means this product is not a subscription product. This is a perpetual product. Now, what we can do typically, but this is not something that an organization does or we do in a live environment. What we can do, we can click on edit lines. Whatever fields we have on products, quotes and quote lines, we can add those fields here in the quote line editor. What we can do, we can add that particular field here. Based on that, a user can review and see like this is a subscription product. But instead of doing it, what Salesforce CPQ has done, you can see this here you can see different options. Add to favorites, clone, discount schedules, review rate card. Here, what we can do, okay, I have this quote line drawer myself. Here on my quote line drawer, if I click on the side facing arrow, on my quote line drawer, I will get an option to add additional fields here. So if my requirement persists, I can add an additional fields here. I can create a formula field that will check whether there is a subscription pricing on my product or not. If there is a subscription pricing on my product, then check that formula field is to true. So I can name it is subscription product or a subscription product, and I can mark it true based on that particular field. And then I can add that formula here in my quote line drawer. So if a customer needs to, or if a sales user has to check whether it is a subscription product or not, they can just click on this drop down. The checkbox would be visible here. That would say subscription true or false. Based on that, a sales rep can get an idea whether it is a subscription product or not. Also, one more thing that we can do on this add product. We can create certain groups here. So as we go on our later videos, we are going to review those. But what we can do, we can create a group here. As of now, there is no group. All my products are showing individually, but we can create a group here where we can desegregate or where we can segregate our subscription products, non-subscription product, and usage-based product in a different group. And while adding the product, sales rep can click on the group name and select the product inside from that particular group. So that would be a better approach. Like instead of showing whether it is a subscription product or not on the code line editor, on add product, we can segregate those products into the groups, and then from where sales rep can select a product. But if we want a visual indicator on the code line level, then definitely we can create a formula field, add that particular formula field here, and that formula field will show you whether it would be a subscription product or not.
Yeah, thanks.
Come.
I have a question.
Yes, I
So is renewal quote a failed quote of the original quote, or how that works?
So the renewal quote is related to the original contract through renewal opportunity. So let me go back to this account. Let me open this svtechsoft contract demo. If I go to related, you can see I have two quotes here. The first one, 212 is my original quote, and this 216 is my renewal quote. Now, okay, now let me open this first one. This one is my original quote. What I can see, I can see this has been related to this svtechsoft contract demo opportunity, the opportunity that we have created. If I open this renewal quote, I can see this renewal quote has related to this particular renewal opportunity. Now, if I open this renewal opportunity, I have this field renewed contract and this renewal checkbox. Whenever a renewal opportunity is created, this renewal checkbox would be checked. That would identify, or that would let us know this opportunity is a renewal opportunity. And this renewed contract field on the opportunity level would be populated automatically from whichever contract this renewal opportunity has been generated. So if I open this contract, this was the initial contract that got generated. If I go to related, there is one subscription with the start date of today's date, 6/5/2023. So this is how the renewal quotes would be generated to your original quote. It would be not directly generated, directly related, but it would be related through this renewal opportunity and this renewal contract. So that's where the contract plays a major role. So if you are dealing with a subscription product and you need to renew those products and you need to amend those products, you have to create contract. Then only you can discuss or you can think about renewals or amendment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions someone have? Okay, so let's check this silence as no. Let's go to the next one. The next topic is quote line editor overview. Let me. Okay, so as I told you, the quote line editor is a part or is the component of your Salesforce CPQ where your sales rep would be devoting the majority of their time. Okay, so in the quote line editor allows you or allow user to see all the quote lines related to the quotes and make changes across the entire quote or to the individual line. So using the quote line editor, what you can do, so on a particular quote, you can have multiple quote lines. You can add 10 or 15 products to a single quote. Correct. Now, using the quote line editors, you can either make changes to those quote lines individually, or you can make changes to the entire quote or that would be applicable to the all the quote lines. So how do we access this quote line editor? Now, the same thing, we have to go to quotes. So we can open any quote record, and then from that quote record, what we have to do, we have to click on the edit line button at the top right corner of the quote record page, and then we can make changes on this particular quote lines from the quote line editor. So once we click on edit lines button, the quote line editor page would be populated. Now, what are the different sections here on the quote line editor? So you can see there are majorly three sections: section 1, section 2, and section 3. So quote line editor can be disaggregated into 3 sections. The section 1 at the top, or the top section of the quote line editor, that contains several buttons. You can see save, cancel, calculate, quick save, delete lines, all these buttons you can see. These are some major buttons that the end users will be using, like add products, calculate, delete lines, group, quick save, reset discount, save and cancel. There are additional buttons that could be added here, or there are custom buttons, those can be created and added to this particular section. Then we have this second section. The second section is the quote information section that display the field from the quote object. So one thing to keep in mind, the quote line editor shows fields from 2 different objects, quote object and the quote line object. So the second section that we have, that section will have the fields from the quote object, and if you make any changes in the field from the second section, the changes will be applicable to the entire quote, not to the individual quote lines. If you want to add or remove fields from those sections, then how will you do it? So what you have to do, we have to go to setup, object manager, quote object. You have to go to the line editor field set, add and remove the fields from that particular field set, and then click on save. So let's have a look into that. How do we do it? So as of now, if I open any quote, if I click on edit line, the fields that I see here after clicking on edit line is the start date, end date, subscription term, and approval required. Now let's take a look. Suppose I also want to see, let's see what are the different fields available. So if I go to object manager, I go to quote object, click on this field set here, go to this line editor field set. These are the different set of fields. So let's suppose I want to add this X. Okay. Refresh it. Okay, let's suppose I want to add this contracting method. I want to add this expire on, and I will add those 2 fields and I will click on save. Now, if I go to quote line, click on cancel here, hit refresh button, then click on generate not generate document, my bad. Click on edit line. I can see the new fields that I have added here. I can see that, like I can see the contracting method, and I can also see the expire on field. Now, same thing we can do with our quote line. So the second section. Now let's take a look on our third section. The third section displays all the quote lines that are related to quote. The column shows the field from the quote line, and any changes made to these fields will be applied to the individual quote line. And then we can also add a quote line fields to column by performing below steps. So here I can see different column, all these columns: start date, end date, product image, delivery distance, delivery cost. These are the fields on my quote line level. Suppose if I want to add or remove any fields from here, I will do the same thing. So let's do one thing. Let's remove the start date and end date. We have the start date and end date on quote level. So let's remove it from the quote line. So to remove it, what I have to do, I have to go to object manager. I have to go to this quote line object. I have to go to this field set here, line editor, and then I have to remove the start date, end date, click on save. Okay, now let me go back to my quote. Click on cancel here. Let's refresh it. Let's click on edit line again. As soon as I clicked on edit line, I can see the start date and end date column has now been removed. So this is how we will add or remove fields from this particular third section. Now, what's next here is line editor drawer. Okay, so quote line editor drawer is a collapsible drawer where you can add your quote line fields to prevent the excess horizontal scrolling for a bigger view. So ideally, what is recommended to only add 7 to 8 fields here on the as a column in our quote line editor from the quote line. But there can be a scenario, there can be a business requirement where a sales rep needs to add up to 30 fields. If such requirements come, then what we have to do, we have to enable this quote line editor drawer. This quote line editor drawer will provide a side facing arrow on our quote line, and then we can add the remaining or additional fields to that quote line editor drawer. Now, how do we add or remove fields from the quote line editor drawer? So we have to go to this quote line object, and then there is a field set called field set that is called line editor field set drawer. So what I have to do, again, I have to do the same thing. As of now, you can see the line editor drawer is enabled. I can see all the required fields here, like markup, start date, end date, product, package product code, original price, all those fields. Now, this is the field set standard line editor drawer that I have to modify. So whatever fields I add or remove from here would be added or removed from here as well. Now let's do one thing. Let's remove all the fields. Okay, this is segmented. Standard line editor drawer. Okay, here, whatever fields I will add or remove, that would be removed from a line editor drawer. So let's do one thing. Let's see how do I disable this drawer. As of now, I am seeing the side facing arrow to enable this line editor drawer. But in my company or in my organization, let's suppose we don't have requirement for multiple fields and you don't want this line editor drawer to be visible. How do we do it? Simply, we will remove all the fields from here. So and let me click on save. Now, if I click here, come back here, click on cancel, refresh the quote. Now, if I go to edit line, okay, now I can no longer see the line editor drawer. I do not see the side facing arrow. So to collapse my drawer and to see the additional fields. So this is how we can add and remove fields from our quote line editor page and display the field that will actually or that will benefit our sales rep to create a fast quote or quote faster for our customer. So this is the agenda for today. We have covered all the topics that we have prepared for demo. I am going to take a pause for Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Will this course cover QCP?
Harika, I was not able to hear. Could you repeat that?
Will this course cover QCP?
Code calculator plugins?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are going to have a small session, so 2-hour session for code calculator plugins as well, where we are going to take a look on JavaScript calculator plugins and how do we, and in which scenario we have to use that. We are not going to focus on that much customization in this course. We are going to take a look of the out of the box functionality of Salesforce CPQ that comes with like price rule, product rule, option constraint. But whenever we see or there are some certain requirements that a price rule cannot obtain. Those limitations on in which scenario we have to use QCP, that we are going to take a look in our later sessions.
Okay.
And will this course will be enough to clear the certification?
Yeah, this course would be more than enough to clear the certification. So what we have planned, so there would be 2 certifications that you can go through after completing this course. The first one would be Salesforce CPQ specialist, and the second one would be the Revenue Cloud consultant. So the Revenue Cloud consultant is the combination of Salesforce CPQ plus Salesforce billing. So we have dedicated like, I think 25 around, like the first 25 to 30 hours would be for your Salesforce CPQ. And then the next 10 to 15 hours would be for Salesforce billing. So after we complete all the topics on Salesforce CPQ, what we are going to do, we are going to have a separate session for the certification where we are going to discuss all them. So let me show you the document that I have. Let's see if I have it or not. Loading or what? Let me open the Word file. Wait. Logins approval. Okay. Okay, so this is the document that I was talking about. So this document contains of several MCQ questions. These all are Salesforce CPQ questions, and you may found some similar or relatable questions when you appear for your exam. So there are, I think, 250 questions are there. Okay, 247 MCQ questions are there. I am going to share this document with you, and I continuously update this document. So based on the new releases, if I found some new questions, I will update the document here. So if you complete this particular course, that 25 hours we have dedicated for CPQ, if you complete the trailhead modules that I will be giving you in between these courses, and then after that you complete these MCQ, those are more than enough to complete or to clear the Salesforce CPQ specialist exam. Same thing goes for Revenue Cloud consultant as well. I will, after we complete the session, like the complete 40-hour session, I would be sharing the similar document for Revenue Cloud consultant, and there would be a 1-hour session where we would be discussing about the examination in detail, and I would be clearing all your doubts if you have any.
Okay. And will you be walking us through any real-time scenarios in this training?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we have planned. So all the topics that we are going to cover, like product rules, price rules. So I will show you, like, first I will show you the configuration part. How do you configure bundles? Or how do you configure product rules and price rules? Then I will be giving you a real life scenario. Let me show you a similar document that we have. So again, let me go to Word. Let me open. Flow rate precision we have. Let me search for.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep. Yes.
At what extent we have coding here? Like do we have to do any kind of
So
coding?
no.
Configuration side like JavaScript or anything else?
So the only coding part that you would require is while creating a code document, you would be required basic knowledge of HTML. And then if you go to the QCP part, then you have to know the basic of JavaScript. That's it. But the majority of Salesforce CPQ functionality is point and click, like configuration itself. You don't have to do that much customization to utilize the Salesforce
Okay,
CPQ to its full potential.
So there are also some positions saying the CPQ developer. So those probably needs more into the configuration side, the QCP, right?
Correct.
And Java, mainly JavaScript or Apex is also involved in there.
Apex was earlier involved. So earlier you can use the Apex in your like in your plugins as well. But now Salesforce CPQ does not support Apex plugin. Like Salesforce CPQ support the Apex plugin, but Salesforce CPQ has stopped giving support to the customer. So if you have created an Apex plugin and you face any issue and you raise a case with Salesforce, like, boss, I have created this particular plugin, it is not working as expected, or it is showing some irrational behavior, then Salesforce support will show you like you have to migrate from your existing Apex plugin to JavaScript plugin. So Salesforce CPQ is now only dedicated towards JavaScript plugin. It will no longer support Apex plugin. I think after next 2 or 3 releases, you might not be able to create an Apex plugin as well.
Very good. And what is the the certification that you're talking about? Like we can do both. CPQ admin and CPQ specialist and revenue cloud. What is revenue cloud specialist or revenue cloud admin?
Consultant. So let me show you that.
Awesome. Okay. All right.
Okay. So let me answer this first. So regarding the real life project or scenario, so I would be giving real life small scenarios after every topic. And then what we have planned, there would be a mini project. So after completion of CPQ part and billing part, there would be a mini project like that I would be giving you, like that would be like a BRD that you receive from your customer or from your client. What I will be doing, I would be sharing a BRD document with you. In that BRD document, there would not be any technical stuff. There would be just business requirement. Like, I am from svtechsoft, I want to implement these functionality, and that would be up to you. Like how you want, you would have to provide me the best way or the best approach. How do you encompass all those requirements? And you can have to give me an MVP. Like you have to create an MVP for me, or not for me, you have to create the MVP for yourself to get to know like how much you have understand or how much knowledge you have gained through this course. So there would be 2 mini projects, one for CPQ, one for billing. Those would be interrelated or combined. So that would be only one project. So half of that project would be Salesforce CPQ and the later part would be the Salesforce billing. Now let's come. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying you're going to spend only 10 hours in the billing side?
Yes. So billing, that billing does not have that much.
That would be enough for the revenue cloud, you think, or I'm not sure, but
No. So that would be enough. So 10 to 15 hours are enough for Salesforce billing. So billing like is same thing as so in this course, what the major managed package that we are going to review is this. It's the first one is Salesforce CPQ itself. Then we are going to cover advance approval. Advance approval is again an add-on to Salesforce CPQ, but for advance approval, we would require a day or two. So that's why we have not added a separate timeline for that. That advance approval will also be covered as a part of Salesforce CPQ. Then the next managed package that we are going to review or that we are going to learn in this course would be this Adobe Sign integration, either Adobe Sign or DocuSign. That is again either a 1 day or a 2 day. So 1 hour or 2 hour part for that one. Then we are going to take a look on Conga Composer, how to generate invoice using Conga Composer. That would again be a 1 hour or 2 hours. So again, we have not disaggregated it, but for billing is again a managed package that would be installed, or that is an add-on to CPQ. But there are a lot of topics to cover in billing. So that's why we have given like 10 hours. But frankly, 10 hours would be more than enough to complete all the topics, 10 to 15 hours. So there could be 12 or 11 sessions, and those are enough to understand billing and clear the Revenue Cloud Consultant certification. Now, regarding the certification, the 2 certifications that I'm talking, the first one you can go through from Trailhead itself. Let me go to credential. Let me click on certifications. Let me go admin one. This CPQ specialist. This is the first certification, or this is the base certification for CPQ. If you are applying for a job for a CPQ admin or CPQ specialist, this is a certification that is a must-have for you. So this is the first certification that we are going to cover. Where I can see the exam overview. Let me come back. I think this is the one. So, okay, this is the first certification. I think it's taking some time to look. The second certification is not through Trailhead. It is through the partner learning camp. So if your organization or if your current company is a partner with Salesforce, then you must have gotten access to partner learning camp or PLC, from where you can go to the different accredited certifications or credentials. From the partner learning camp itself, there is a certification called Revenue Cloud Accredited Professional. So let me open that. Consultant Accredited Professional. This is the second certification that you can go through after completing this specific course, Accredited Revenue Cloud Consultant. But to appear for this certification, what you must have a PLC account, and the PLC account you will only get if your organization or your current company is a partner with Salesforce with Salesforce. So these 2 certification I'm going to give you enough study material and enough real life scenarios to practice with or go through with. This Revenue Cloud Accredited Professional I also went through last year itself. So this is pretty easy as compared to the Trailhead exam or Trailhead certifications that we give.
Okay.
But your primary focus should be the Trailhead one, the CPQ specialist one.
Yeah, but we have an organization, so I have the partner as well. So I am more interested on the Revenue Cloud.
Accredited.
So I'm just wondering if there is anything you put a little more effort or whatever, because CPQ specialist, we understand we can go to the Trailhead and we can
Correct.
finish it, right?
Right.
And this one is a little bit tricky because I think the billing part of it is not available. Yeah, right.
So
in the Trailhead as well. So
right.
the,
So billing part is let me give you a hack for that. What you have to do, you have to, like the same way that I told you, you can create a developer org from here, like the link that I shared in the chat earlier. Let me open that. Where is that link? Okay. Okay. From this link, what you can do, you can install, you can create a CPQ developer, correct? Now, what you can do, I think that is steelbrick install.steel. Okay. Install.steelbrick.com. You can go to this link. Okay. You should have a CPQ org before you come to this link. So you can create a Salesforce CPQ org from this particular link. Then all the add-on package that comes with Salesforce CPQ, like that we are going to review, like the Service Cloud for Salesforce CPQ, Salesforce billing, there's then PayEasy payment gateway, and then advanced approval itself. All those you can install from here for free in your developer org. So if you want to do more practice, then this is the place from where you can do. And I think the limitation is still same. I think it will get expired in every 90 days. You have to create a new developer or every 90 days. But yeah, for practice, it's will definitely give you all the features and functionality.
But every time you create the developer org, you need a different email, right? Or you can use the same email too, right?
No, you can use same email.
Okay.
You can use the same email, but the only thing is whatever data, whatever configuration you have created in your previous org will not be available in your new org until and unless you take an export from your previous org.
Okay.
Some days prior and then re-import it in your new org.
I see.
So most of the managed package we are going to install from here as well and make configuration on those packages as soon as we progress on this particular course.
So what is our days like? Which days you're gonna cover? Like how many days?
So it may take like 2 months we can consider. Like if we do Monday to Friday. Earlier batch I was doing Monday to Saturday. So there was 6 classes. 7.
No, I think Monday to Friday is better. I think.
Okay, so we will, so that is not up to me. So that is something that svtechsoft will decide, like once you register, how many participant registers and what are their availability and at which time they can join. So that will come from svtechsoft to me and then I will just take the classes according to that. But there would be 35 to 40 classes for sure. And then how we decide, like Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, based on that duration of this class or course will vary.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And your name, please?
My name is Rishabh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You are in the East Coast?
I'm from India.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yes. You're from US?
I'm in the West Coast.
Okay.
In the US. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Kishore for quite a while. So anyway, so this is the thing. I'm more concerned about the Revenue Cloud certification. That is the main reason I'm here.
Okay. So Revenue Cloud certification, if you have gone through it, if you have seen the prerequisite, 50 to 60% or more than, I can say 6. I am not sure. Let me check again. But majority of questions will come from CPQ itself in the Revenue Cloud. So Revenue Cloud consists of.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. That's why I was a little bit concerned that when you say you're going to cover only 10% in the or 15% in the billing and the rest would be in the CPQ. So that's why I got a little bit concerned. I thought maybe it's the 60% and 40%.
No, so basically, there is.
Anyway, I'm just saying my concern.
No, I understand. I understand your concern. But if you see, if we go to the syllabus of CPQ, there are a vast number of topics that we might need to cover. But when it comes to billing, it's simply so. What Salesforce CPQ does, Salesforce CPQ gives you a lot of functionality, like creating of quote, setting up discounts, setting up pricing, setting up usage-based product, all the different configuration you have to do on CPQ itself. Then when the billing comes, it is just an add-on to CPQ. like you cannot install billing directly in your org. If you want to install Salesforce billing, you must have Salesforce CPQ first. All your primary or major configuration will be done on CPQ itself. When you install Salesforce billing, the billing will only be there to generate invoices, to calculate tax, and to collect payment from the customer. This is the main purpose of billing. So in billing, there is not that much configuration topics that we can cover, that we have to cover when talking about CPQ. CPQ, you have to cover a lot of topics. You have to cover product rule, you have to cover price rule, you have to cover bundles, you have to cover option constraint, a number of topic, template contents, a vast number of topics that we need to cover. But when we come back to billing itself, then the topic that we need to cover is like billing rule, invoicing rule, tax rule, payments, refunds, those kind of topics. So those will not take that much time. So if we have 10 to 12 days, then we can cover all those topics. Then we can have 1 day for certification discussion, 1 day for mini projects. So that's the reason I was saying 10 to 15 days would be enough for billing. But for CPQ, we would require 25 to 30
10
days.
to 15 days means almost 2 weeks, right? I mean,
Right, 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
More than 2 weeks.
All right.
And if you see, it is not 10 to 15%. Like for CPQ, we are giving 25 to 30 days. So it's like half, or not half, 40% you can say of CPQ.
Okay.
So we can consider it 60-40. That would be
Very good. Thank you so much.
okay.
I don't have any more questions, so can I leave?
Yeah, definitely you can leave.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone have any other questions?
When will this batch start, Rishabh?
That unfortunately I cannot answer. You may need to connect with Kishore. I will get also.
Okay.
I think if you guys register, if everyone registers, then I think we are good to start from tomorrow itself. But yeah, that I cannot commit. You may need to connect with Kishore, and he will be able to answer you those, like the timing of the batches and the head count, or when the batch will start. Every year can get those information from Kishore.
Okay.
So let me do one thing. Let me stop this recording, and then I can proceed for more questions. So. Okay. Okay.